Mandali Hall, Mirazad, September 12th, 1981.
Yes, Sylvia there. Jai Baba Sylvia.
Eruch, excuse me for asking. Do you remember any stories connected with your visits to the States, having to do with the Ivy and any stories that you were in 1952, 56, 58? I mean, it's just, I mean, it's a, maybe not a very good question. I mean,
It is a good question, provided I remember. It's so simple. The thing is that, in 1956 I went with Baba for the first time to the West. And this visit in 1956 was cramped, you see, with a lot of work and activities of Baba. So all the time my attention was focused on Baba. I had to be his personal attendant. I had to also interpret the gestures. He had given up the use of the board. So it was very difficult for me to remember anything other than his silence. But I do remember, while we were in New York, the day we arrived in the night, and it was my first trip to West. Baba knows that. I had to go in 52, but I didn't go. So he remembered that, and while I was attending to spreading out his things and doing his bed and all that, he calls me. He was leaning out of the window of that, which hotel is that, Delmonico?
New York?
In New York.
Yeah.
We in 1956. You don't remember,
Where the dinner
Jack?
was? Where the dinner
I
was?
didn't realize you had dinner at the same place you were
No,
staying.
who says that dinner? I didn't mention dinner at all.
That's the only.
I said Delmonico Hotel. Where did we stay?
I don't know.
It was Delmonico. Judith must be knowing.
I was saying that Delmonico was where you had the dinner, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had that dinner with Baba.
No, but we stayed in Delmonico also.
Stayed there.
Yeah.
I've heard that from people in New York.
What is that?
That Baba stayed at Delmonico.
Yeah, so that's right. Thank you for confirming. So, well, I was busy all the time with him and all that. And Baba, I don't know, because there was nobody inside the room. So he leaned out of the window of the floor where we were. I forget which floor it was. And he was looking, and he called me. He says, look at the lights, he said. See how it is. Is Broadway visible from there? I believe he was telling me about the lights of Broadway and all that. I don't know, what do you think? So, well, I looked out because he wanted me to look out. And he says to me, don't they fascinate you? I said, had we been in a different world, it would have been very fascinating, but this is the same old earth, Baba. And it doesn't fascinate me at all. It doesn't. It is lights are there, yeah. Had we been in a different planet, it would have been all right. I said that. That's one thing I remember that. And then the story that comes to my mind is that from there we went to Myrtle Beach, most probably. And we were in the crowd, and all of a sudden Dr. Harry Kenmore, some or other, came there, and he had not seen Baba because he was a blind person. How can he see? Have you heard of Dr. Harry Kenmore? A blind doctor, chiropractor. Yeah, you heard of him? Yeah. So he had not seen Baba. And for the first time, he came and wanted to have a contact of Baba. So he stands and somebody, naturally he's with his white stick, so somebody gets him closer to Baba and says, Baba, here is Dr. Harry Kenmore, he wants to see you. So if you all, of course you all don't know his personality, or so he retorted and says, well, how can I see? But I can see if he allows me to pass my fingers on his body, I can see only with my fingers, my eyes I can't see with. That's how he would always talk, loud, burly person, very outspoken and all that. So Baba, I remember, immediately took both his hands and says, now see me with your fingers. And I still remember, Baba helped him to scan with his fingers the whole physiognomy, his whole physique, right from the chest, arms, everything, here, everything till the toes. Yeah, I still remember. Helped him to that. Well, and thus he drew him close, and so close, so very close to him, that subsequently he paid 13 visits to India on his own, all by himself, 13 times.
14 is confirmed.
Huh?
14.
Yeah, but 13 visits to India. Self would say, or Baba would also pass a remark, that Harry, had you the eyesight, you see, you would have become the president of the States. He was that type of a person. Very formidable, very meticulous in all things that he did, methodical. In spite of his blindness, he would even recognize the colors of his socks and all that. Yeah, one can never imagine that he was blind. And Rano, she is not here now. Once what happened, she went to the States all by herself after Baba passed away, and naturally contacted Harry, paid a visit. So after the visit was over, Harry said, come on Rano, I'll get you a taxi. So he goes out on the street, you see, hailing a taxi, and he goes in the crowd there. And Rano is horrified. What's going to happen to him? For my sake, he'll kill himself. And taxi people are dodging, and cars are dodging, and all. And he said, hailed a taxi and got it. He would go anywhere and everywhere. Just imagine coming here 13 times. Once he came to India for 1 hour, just an hour. There was a time when Baba was in seclusion, and he circulated a circular saying that, those who wish to see him can come to see him for 1 hour on particular date, and that was in Pune. And through family letters of money, naturally the information must have reached the States. You know what family letters? There is a book called Family Letters. Have you read, Victor? Yeah, it's beautiful. It gives an account, you see. Monthly accounts of Baba, life with Baba. So, nice volume. So I think 84 letters are there. 84 letters are there. And it was Harry Kenmore who first published them, really speaking. So he must have heard of Baba giving, Baba is now available for 1 hour. And for Harry, that 1 hour is some hour. And he came all the way, all by himself, and he phoned. And I said, and I'm speaking loudly because the voice is loud usually from Guru Prasad Pune. I'm in Pune, and I thought that he was speaking from New York. And he says, where is Baba? I said, Harry, wait, Baba is here at Guru Prasad, and from where are you speaking? He says, I'm at the hotel here, I said, where? He says, here in Pune. I'm coming now for the darshan, as he will say. And sure enough, we were all preoccupied, you see, that 1 hour there. And Baba himself first spotted him. It was a long hall, long passage. And from a distance, Baba points out. Sure enough, he's coming step by step, he's climbing with a stick, all by himself. And then he went back the same evening to the airport. They all knew by that time that Harry Kenmore, Dr. Kenmore is coming here, you see, and going back every now and then. So they were surprised. He says, Doctor, hey, where are you going? He says, well, the next flight to to the States. He said, but you just arrived. I said, so what? I want to go back. I came for my pop. You call Baba his pop. Well, he was available for 1 hour and that's enough for me. What a character, what a life. Yeah, all by himself. Not only that he felt, he didn't allow us to feel handicapped or anything. Some person, a journalist or somebody, poor fellow, he got so abused by him. He mentioned about his visits to India and during one of his visits, and he gave a nice report of Harry Kenmore, you see. And he equated him to Namdev, the same. We spoke about Namdev, and so forth, that he could, with his love, he could melt the heart of the Lord, and so forth and so on. But in that, he had mentioned the blind doctor. Oh, that son of a bitch, you see. He can think only of the blindness, you see. Next day he'll report, you see, a woman conceived and carrying on for 7 months, you see, approached Meher Baba for darshan. It's just like that. Yeah. Why should he mention that? Am I blind, you'd say. I'm not blind. I can see with my fingers. That's sort of a personality.
Tell a story when Nerji took Harry and some friends of Nerji to Pune to Bombay.
Yeah, we are digressing now. The thing is that, his personality was such and his love was so one-pointed. 13 times visiting Baba means what? So one of the visits, you see, Meherji, one of Baba's, I don't know whether you know Meherji Karkaria, close ones of Baba who lives in Pune nowadays. So he was also to go to Bombay and the timings coincided. So Baba said, hey Meherji, will you take Harry tomorrow in car to Bombay with you? I said, sure Baba, I'm going to Bombay, I'll take him. But in the meantime, Meherji had accepted some lady, a lady means real lady. So, means influential of some higher strata and all that, his friend's friend. So she was to be given a lift also in his car. So Meherji came at the appointed time in the morning and called at Guru Prasad and collected Harry. So come on Harry, let's go. So Harry went after seeing Baba and all that, and we had a very nice time with Harry, and Baba also gave him a fine departure, you see, and he left. And now he is about to step inside the car. He wouldn't sit in the car as we would sit. He being blind, he doesn't see. So he'll sit in the car, he'll enter the car with his butt end, you see. He'll just turn that way and then enter and get inside to the seat. Otherwise, there are chances of knocking his head. He learned it through a lot of experiences, mind you. He showed us many things, what a man can do without sight. Because I was all the time with him. So he sat there. But naturally, Meherji had to introduce him because he's sitting by the side of the lady on the rear seat. And Meherji is on the other side and the lady is in the center. So he introduces Harry, says, here is lady so-and-so, who is also accompanying. He says, oh, I'm happy to have a good company and all that. And, well, this car started out. It went out of the gate and he turned to the lady and by the way, he would converse with the person as if he's seeing the person, looking at the person, you see, through voice, very sharp ears. But then eventually he also turned deaf. So, but still, his bearings were so sharp. So he looked at the person and says, well, I am very happy to be with you today. We'll have a good talk on Meher Baba. When did you hear of Meher Baba? He says, I have nothing to do with Meher Baba. He said, as if I have to do anything with you. He who does not love Meher Baba has nothing to do with me. And that moment he never spoke a word either to Meherji or to the lady. All throughout Bombay, till they reached Bombay from Pune. And for Meherji it was so embarrassing. He was rather rude to the lady. He said, who cares for this? He said, I don't care for that, I don't care. Such a person. Where Baba is concerned, 100% with a hammer. Otherwise, he is a man of the world. Yeah, he treats his patients. He was a good earner. He earned a lot of money, made a lot of money, and all that. Sort of. He didn't exhibit his handicaps or anything. He was a man of the world. Then we went from there, brother, to San Francisco, where Ivy Deuce and the Sufis received Baba very warmly and all that. And we were placed at what's the name of the Holiday Lodge. There's a place, a hotel called Holiday Lodge. Holiday Inn. Holiday Lodge. Holiday Lodge. Yeah, well, it was nice. And they had specially kept a suite for Baba and another one for me by the side of Baba. And I was horrified at the rate, they are paying, because I never used that suite at all. And we stayed there for 3 or 4 days or something like that. But because my place was near Baba's bed, in the night, and daytime I would be at the heels of Baba, that's all. Had nothing to do with that room. But it was good, no disturbance. Yeah, in that sense it was good. So the first night, from naturally Baba is now resting after a very busy day there. And I had to keep watch. Whole night I was there. And Baba permitted me, there was a huge television set, So I switched off the sound, and naturally all the channels are working there, and I can see the pictures and while away my time. Our meditation, our night watch would be nothing to do with anything. All that we had to do is to keep our eyes open and not create a sound. That was our meditation. In the presence of the Lord. Otherwise, what is there? What do you meditate on? In the presence of the Lord, do you meditate anything? Is there anything to meditate upon? Nothing. So, Baba told me to while away my time like that. And I am seeing all the things, that are there and all the passing by, And Baba is resting. All of a sudden, at about 2 o'clock in the night, phone rings in the Baba's room. And I was horrified, because of the disturbance. I immediately jumped and got the phone. I said, yes, who is speaking? He says, Harry's booming voice comes. Harry Kenmore speaking from New York. He says, do you realize what has happened to me? That we could have followed Baba, but he would always abuse it. So the abuse would proceed. Would precede any explanation. So he says, nobody told me that we could follow him. I would have followed him to the end of the world, with that figure that he is. So I said, yeah, but Harry, wait. So he says, please ask his permission whether I could come there. I said, but this, you please, but I said, he's resting. So Baba got up. I said, whose phone? I'm still holding. I said, hold on, Harry, Baba is there. He says, yeah, you please ask him. So then I still remember. I told Baba that it's Harry Kenmore, and he is so frustrated because nobody told him that anybody could follow him wherever he went in the States. He was told that just this darshan at Myrtle Beach Center and go back. So the poor fellow went back. And then later on he learned. And he couldn't contain himself, so immediately took the phone and phoned. So Baba told him that have patience. You will have many, many more chances of being with me. You need not come here now, but you will have many, many more chances later on. And sure enough, and he did have, So then when we were there in the Holiday Lodge, this thing happened, Nice things happened. People were there coming and going and adoring him and worshipping him and weeping before him and laughing. He would make them laugh. He would make them weep. He would make them laugh. Being one with them on their level. There would be skits. I still remain, Stella Dufresne was the one. For the first time, I still vivid there. She comes there and offers the translation in German of God Speaks. Baba was very happy, and Baba took it and gave it to Ivy. I don't know what has happened to that. Such are the memories, nothing more than that. In 1958 we went there, same thing, being busy with Baba. Yeah. What may I tell you, Antonio? All that I can say again and again is that his presence is so overwhelming that anything and everything around had no meaning, you see. So you can't remember these things except him or his words or whatever happened, transpired in his presence, you see. And all that I saw was just this. Seeing people, seeing him and weeping. Men, women, all were there. And you'd love and caress the children and play with them and play with the older elders, the older generation also. The same thing. Tell them some words of truth. Tell them some stories. It's like that. What else? That's the story. Yeah. Then from there, which trip did we go to Australia? Both the trips, but we were passing, we came from California to Australia, and we were returning. Now, while
Then you returned to India.
yeah,
Then you returned here.
yeah, from over the Pacific.
Yeah.
Over
No,
the
over the Pacific,
no, over the Indian Ocean. No, but while we were over the Pacific, one other thing happened. You know, with Baba, we were there in the plane, and the other day somebody told me.
What about that interesting occasion in Honolulu?
Yeah, that's I'm coming to that. You see, so while we are going now via the Pacific to Australia, was it that at that time you come across?
Well, that's what I understood from what
Yeah.
you told me.
I forget all these things. I don't know.
That was the impression.
World is round, you know. We don't know where is Honolulu. Yeah, it is that. I know this much, that it was one of the visits there. But say it was there. So while we were going there, what had happened was, keeping ourselves, naturally, the passengers are asleep and all that. We are crossing the Pacific. And I don't know what had happened. All of a sudden, I'm with Baba by his side, sitting there. And next to us, you know, is that, what you call, cabin of the pilot and all that. You know, just, yeah, we were in the foremost seat, the first seat, on the left. And we are there, people are all asleep, drowsy, and so, yeah, all quiet there, no activity, nothing of the sort. And I am there, had to keep watch, keep alert. And Baba having his scarf there and sitting there. All of a sudden we hear a loud thud. At least two of us heard, because I was awake and Baba is always awake, the awakener. So we heard a real loud thud, not just a pat or anything, sir. Huge thud. So I was alert. So Baba took his scarf out and looked at me. What was that? I don't know. There is some big noise inside. Somewhere nearby, outside our window, whatever you call it. What do you call that window? Window? Porthole, yeah. But we can't see outside because it's, yeah, the glass is there. So it's loud thud. We waited. Something must have happened. Some misfire, you know. Sometimes you have in the cars. But that was not that type. It was something hammering the plate or something like that. And after some time, 5 minutes, another louder thud. And Baba says, you report. So I rang the bell. After time, stewardess comes. I said, there is some loud thud we are hearing time and again. Something is wrong with the plane or something, because there's nobody around here and we are hearing. She says, no, we didn't hear anything. Is it so? I said, yeah, you just stand here, wait. And of course nothing happened. She said, wait. And she did wait. Eventually she sat, squatted, you may call it, you see, on her haunches. Sure enough, after a time, a huge thud, you see. And she was frightened. She immediately opened the door and went inside. And says, something is happening. The passengers are reporting. I heard also something she must have spoken. Immediately the crew came out. So what is it? They couldn't hear also. I don't know what they were doing. So nobody, no passengers around us also were awake. They were all having good snooze. So they came and they noticed it. And I don't know how they must have noticed what it was. And they went inside, and after about half an hour they came back and says, they thanked us profusely, saying that it's good that you drew our attention, because huge blocks of ice, they had, went further away in the altitude. You see, the altitude got increased inadvertently, and inadvertently the altitude got increased, you see, and they should have kept at a lower altitude than needed. So that's because the ice blocks they were formed and they were being thrown by the propeller, you see, all the time on the, you know that, the hump that is there on the propeller. Yeah, fuselage or whatever you call it, I don't know what are the terms. So they said it's good, otherwise there would have been serious damage. So and then what happened is, a very touching story occurred. Then we stopped, I think somewhere, I don't know where it was. It was in Honolulu. Honolulu, yeah. Whether it was then or next trip, I forget now. So there we are stopped at the airport. And, it was a stopover. We had to change the plane. There was something like that. There were 3 or 4 hours in between. So at the airport, we went there. It being an international airport, it was fine. Nothing boring or anything of the sort. There are many people, you see, all nationalities of the world, you see, flowing and floating around, you know. Planes land every 5 minutes or so, and so forth. And another group of passengers, another nationality, and so forth. Very entertaining airport, that is. If anybody has been there, most of you all must have been. So we sat there. Baba took us to a bench, and we sat on that type of bench there in the main hall. And we were there and noticing, and after about half an hour or 3/4 of an hour, and we looked at our watches, no talk, nothing of the sort. So I suggested to Baba, Baba, I asked Meherji, Meherji, when is the next plane? What's the schedule? So he says, there are 3 more hours to go. 3 more hours. And Baba is not budging. So I told Baba, there are 3 more hours. Wouldn't you like to have a stroll there? There is a sea surf. The sea is there. We can see there. So we can go out and have good sea breeze and all that. Walk about. Keep seated, he says. So we sat. After another half an hour, he says, would you like to go out for toilet, Baba? Nothing. And just I was entertained, because there are many people, men, women and all that with the lei or whatever you call it. What do they call it? Lei. Yeah, garlands and all that. It was fun for me. But still, I needed some sort of exercise. We had sat in the plane, and now again sitting here means what? So I said, Baba, it's now 1.5 hours still. There's no reason why we should be here. We can go out and come back. Sit here. Within 15 minutes, what happens, this is what I saw. A couple comes. And as the others are there, a couple. I call couple because man and woman. They are both there, arm in arm like this, you see, walking. And they come close to Baba. And they stoop down in a bow. And very politely and gently request Baba and us all to come to their house for lunch. It's lunch hour. So Baba says, we will be seated over here. We don't go anywhere. We have to catch the plane. There's no time. You see, there's no time. We have to catch the plane, and we'll be here. We'll be here. And Baba then leaned out, to catch hold of the cheeks of the man, you see, who had invited him and patted him and says, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with your invitation, but we can't accept it. So they again bowed down, went away. I thought that maybe it is because of this couple. We don't know who the couple is. Because of this, he must be waiting for them. Therefore, he didn't go out. Maybe so. Who knows? Possible. So now I took the opportunity, Baba. There's still 1 hour. Can we go out? So Baba says, what is this? There's no time now. We have to catch the plane and all that. We have to be here all the time. So I said, all right. We kept quiet. We sat there. So, well, another half an hour passes by. And sure enough, we come to see this couple again. But this time they are not walking hand in hand or anything, but each one carrying big packages, you see, brown paper thing. And come close, they bow down. Huge big packet is offered to Baba very lovingly. And the small packets, each one of us receive. Says, please have these snacks if you cannot come, have this. So Baba thanked and all that. He got the man close to him and again caressed him, and the woman was caressed and all that. And they bowed down and left. And when they left, then Baba says, now we can go. Let's have a stroll. So with all the packets you see, we are going on this stroll. That was very touching. Who the persons be, I don't know. Who could they be? And we never saw, we had no contact, nothing we saw. But such recognition, yeah, out of the blue. We don't know who they could be. By the way, you all know that Napoleon died? Napoleon? You know that Napoleon died? From Hawaii?
He was young, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He died of what?
I don't know, but about...
In Holloway? Honolulu.
Yeah.
Really?
You know him?
I don't know who you're talking about, really.
You know, lover of Baba, Baba lover,
Oh, I'm
by
thinking
name
of
Napoleon.
Famous.
No, not Napoleon. No, not that. He died in Elba. No, but I heard about 2-3 months back, vaguely somebody wrote and that Napoleon has died. We'll have to check now. If somebody coming from there, we'll ask somebody. Good. Of what use? He could have easily come. Never came. And he was supposed to be very rich. Of what use the wealth? Alappa told me that, yeah. Alappa is still there, yeah, still getting strong. He is strong. He is continuing to be strong with his wife.
Eruch,
Yes, sir.
your talk about Harry Kenmore made me think of a question that I'm interested in. It's, you described Harry as being very firm, outspoken, firm, brusque. What's the relationship between a personality that is outspoken, bold, and expressive like that, and effacement, which you so often have described as sort of the key in being Baba's?
That's true.
Can you be effacing yourself
Of
and yet
course,
have such a personality?
Of course, yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah, you can. You can have that personality, outspoken and all that, but eventually it tells upon the personality itself. It gets subdued. And Harry was like that. We could observe him getting subdued with the passage of time. You see. This was in the early years, but then gradually, yeah. But you can efface yourself having such a personality also. By His grace, anything and everything can happen. You may have such a personality, and getting closer and closer to Him, the closeness to Him is the process of effacement. And when you get close enough, then you settle down, and then effacement picks on you. It's not necessary that, you should sit down, you see, like a brooding chick, and that you wouldn't want to speak with anybody, you wouldn't want to mingle with anybody, nothing of that sort. It has no meaning in that. That sort of effacement, Baba didn't like it. Baba wanted us to be bold, brave, be in the world and elbow your way through the crowd and all that, and at the same time,
At the same time, be effaced.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the gist of my question.
Yeah, it can. We have to be that way, you see. He wanted people like that around him. He didn't like anybody to adore him or to be so modest and all that sort of thing. Nothing. No. He didn't. He wanted us to be strong enough, have our own personality, and at the same time go through the process of effacement. Yeah. And effacing yourself doesn't mean that you rub your nose on the floor all the time. You see.
Recordings made on September 12th, 1981 ends here.
what a sort of a creator he is, that he creates appetite so that I could eat. But he has not only given the appetite and given the food, but he has given me digestive power so I could digest also. And then when I evacuate in the morning, deposits, morning deposits, what a relief it is. See what a gadget he has created. So that way you remember him. When you drink water, the thirst is appeased. He has given me the thirst to relish his bounty of water. What a benevolent one he is. So gradually you are now beginning to glorify him without your knowing him. Knowing it, that you are, in the process of remembering him, you have started glorifying him. You follow what I am saying? This is what he told them. Then what happens, as you progress further and further, then you begin to find yourself seated at one place, you see, and glorifying him. And sitting at one place, you begin to think of his greatness, you see. That wonderful thing that he has created, a gravitational force, that I could sit quietly and be here on terra firma, you see. Suppose if he had not created this force, gravitational force, what would have happened? Suppose if I had not the surface of the earth to sit and admire at his creation, where would I be to admire it? So, and then when I begin to admire now, my mind goes to admire, my mind goes to see the creation,